Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. That's right, we are back after a little more than a month off due to vacations, getting sick, all that fun stuff. But we are back. This is episode 334, and I am your host, Sean Hayes. So, we had a Nintendo Direct today. Going to get this right off the bat. We had a Nintendo Direct today, as you know. That's going to be the source of our topics for every topic today is just going to be with the Nintendo Direct. So also doing something a little different. We are doing the live show on a Friday night. That is to accommodate my change in schedule with weekends. So this going forward, the live show will be on Friday night. This means that the podcast will go out. So the podcast will go out at the same time, but if you're a patron, you will get it a little bit earlier. Okay, so hope everyone's had a great month. One thing that I want to announce is that I am now one of the cast members of Geeks with Issues 20XX. I was not a member. I was not a cast member of the original run of Geeks with Issues, although most of my very close friends were involved in that show. So you will also be able to see me dish out my hot takes on various geeky topics on Geeks with Issues 20XX. And I'll there'll be a link here for that. For the first episode is out now. And there will be more to come. So, but yeah, Nintendo Direct. I've done a lot more slides than I usually do. Another little change up is normally I try and keep it to 5 or 6 topics and just 5 or 6 slides for those who are watching the video version of this podcast. No change for audio listeners, so you don't have to worry about that, but just for the folks who are watching, a little bit more visual elements. So because we have quite a bit to get into, let's get started. So we're going to start things off with the first topic that was announced on today's Nintendo Direct, Super Mario's 40th anniversary. Right, so a whole bunch of items as part of this sort of meta topic. Nintendo showcased, first off, a trailer for the next Mario film, which will be titled the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So it is not, in fact, like the Super Mario Brothers movie 2 or anything like that. Looks like it's going to focus on Super Mario Galaxy, but it was noted that there will be stuff for fans of all Mario characters. Looks like most of the voice cast is returning. So notably Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, and of course, I'm drawing a blank on Luigi and Toad. So I'm just going to look this up real quick. Charlie Day and Keegan-Michael Key are also returning. Notably, no mention of Seth Rogen or Fred Armisen. No mention of Charles Martinet either. But who knows? So it looks like the main cast is returning. But perhaps none of the Donkey Kong related characters are. And Kamek is returning as well. but yeah, so I mean that kind of makes sense. Donkey Kong didn't factor at all in sort of the Galaxy storylines, um, for whatever counts as the Galaxy storylines, uh, but that's fine. There's rumors that we're getting a Donkey Kong film anyway. So yeah, that looks like it's going to launch spring 2026. In addition to that, there's going to be a Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle that was sort of not remade, but just kind of they just cleaned it up a little bit for Switch 2. Um, so that bundle looks to be like $70, and each of the games can be purchased for $40. Folks are a little unhappy about that. I don't know what you're gonna do. Uh, I mean, Nintendo's not gonna give you those games at a discount from their original price. Uh, Mario Tennis Fever is a new game. Um, so it's going to feature Mario Tennis gameplay, but also the inclusion of like elemental rackets, or they call them fever rackets, but they do elemental effects. So you build up like a fever gauge, and then you can launch fireballs, launch ice balls, mini mushrooms, spinies, all that fun stuff. The adventure mode for that game is all of the main characters are turned into babies, where they forget all of their tennis skills and they have to remember all of like how to play tennis. So that's a thing for Mario Tennis fans. Super Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition. So it looks like it's going to include basically like a Mario Party minigame like pack in, where it's all multiplayer games. And then another new game is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. So kind of leaning into like a Yoshi story, but not like it's not Yoshi's story. It's more that like you go in and you're trying to like fill out a Pokedex basically of like there are all these entries about creatures, and you have to go and like find the creatures and then perform various tasks to unlock more information about them in the book. So I don't know. My hope is that it's not that it's a little more difficult than recent Yoshi entries have been. But it does do this really nice sort of storybook art style that I think will work really well. And I love Yoshi games. And I haven't gotten the last couple of ones just because apparently they've been very easy. And they came out at times where I wasn't in a spot to pick up new games. So I'm hoping that it's pretty good. Super Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition and Yoshi and the Mysterious Book are also spring 2026 launch. And that, a lot of the other stuff they mentioned are focusing around like events, like the Nintendo's sponsoring some big marathon that's happening in Japan. And they're doing like a special exhibit and like new badges for the Nintendo Museum, but focusing mostly on the games for our purposes. All right, so as far as the first set of games that were announced, so this is Dinkum, which is coming out for Switch 1, but obviously will be playable on Switch 2. This is a solo developed game by James Bendon, and looks like it kind of starts off Minecraft-like. I don't want to say that it's like a Minecraft clone because the art style is very different, and you're not doing quite the same level of stuff that you're doing in Minecraft. But it's very much focused on it's a survival game, so obviously getting a base established, collecting resources, growing farms and everything. But eventually your goal is to like attract like other people and build like a town that attracts like businesses and stuff like that. So kind of like establishing a town. Very inspired by Australia. James Bendon is an Australian developer. So it's things like they showed evading great white sharks, saltwater crocodiles, chasing off kangaroos, and things like that. I'm actually kind of excited about this. I do like survival games. Um, it also like the art style for the people reminds me of Mies. So I'm pretty excited about that. And it has fishing. So I have to try it out, folks. I got to try it out. It has fishing. So I'm just going to adjust the microphone a little bit. See if that works a bit better. But yeah, I'm very very excited about this game. And it comes out November 5th. Next up, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Now, this is not a new game, but it is coming to Switch 2. Launches January 22nd. And it comes with the Intergrade like DLC packed in. So I think I have this on PC, but I don't know how well my machine can run it. So I've kind of been holding off, but I'll be very excited to try that. I liked Final Fantasy VII when it first came out, and I watched a lot of gameplay of the remake. Not so much with the Intergrade DLC, but and I was excited for like when it came to like Steam to try it out, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So I'm very excited to try it out, and hopefully that the Switch 2 is good enough to run it without needing to take any shortcuts. So, in addition, Hades 2, Supergiant sequel to its hit roguelike Hades, it's going to release digitally September 25th and physically on November 20th. So if you do want to buy physical, you are going to have to wait until November. But you will be able to pick it up September 25th on the digital storefront. This will support cross-platform saves. Supergiant is fantastic for doing this because it's also launching. It's launching like on every platform, and so the ability to, play it on Steam, say, and then be able to transfer your save, or that it just naturally saves, and then take it with you on a trip and continue playing there. That's fantastic. I will say though, it does say in TV mode, so when it's docked, you're going to get 120 frames per second. So very excited for that. And I loved Hades, and so I'm super excited for this. I haven't played any of the early access because I didn't want to spoil it for myself. And so like I'm going to be coming into this without any prior knowledge of how the game, of like any plot or anything like that. So I'm going to be starting fresh. So bear with me for not having any details about it. Next up, this is a contentious one. Virtual Boy Classics. So these are Virtual Boy games that are coming to Nintendo Switch Online and Expansion Pack, which is fine. That's fine. The contention part and the controversial part is that there are remodeled peripherals. So a Virtual Boy, like made to look like the original Virtual Boy, and it holds your Switch or Switch 2, sort of like Labo did. Now, this is just like a glorified holder. And they're selling it for $100 US, which is absurd to me. Like, for $100, it should be like its own console. And instead, like, it's just something to insert. They're also selling a cardboard version, so like Labo, for $30, or I'm sorry, $25. But then when you factor in, taxes and whatnot, it comes out to, roughly 30. But so for $24.99, you can buy a cardboard version, or you could probably like look at the cardboard version online, get a sense for how you construct it, and build it yourself out of like scrap cardboard for, basically free. So yeah, I don't know, outside of collectors, I don't know who the market is for this. They are eventually going to release all of the Virtual Boy games, which from what I understand, were never very good. So this is more of just like a weird, very niche nostalgia factor. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to be getting this. This is of no interest to me. Yeah, especially for that price is absurd. Like, if I'm going to pay that much, I would rather get a second dock for my Switch 2. Cuz yeah, I don't care. So, now that said, I mean, I don't know if you're a collector and you have no problem paying this. I mean, more power to you, but I think it's an absurd price, and yeah, this is a real head scratcher for me. So, next up, they mentioned a slew of titles are getting Switch 2 updates, one of which being Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley for the Nintendo Switch is being updated to include mouse controls for Switch 2. It will include game share with up to 4 other players, or up to 3 other players. Sorry. And local split screen multiplayer. So, like, so it sounds like you would be able to like have one game. Like, I'm going to need to look more into this. Actually, I'm going to see right now if they talk about it. But what I'm thinking is that you have one game and you're playing it on the TV, and that up to 4 players can play on the TV, and it does it split screen style. This upgrade will also be free outside of Japan. Confirmed by Eric Barone himself, it seems. So 4-player split screen multiplayer. Oh, an 8-player online multiplayer. That I don't know how that works. That's absurd. 8 people on one farm. So yeah, I couldn't find anything, but it looks, that would be my guess, is that you have one game that you could then host and do local multiplayer, because I don't know how else it works. So, so yeah, that's very exciting. And again, free updates. Love it. You love to see it. All right, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So this was a little bit of a controversial update. The big one was we got a release date. Release date for Metroid Prime 4 is December 4th. So it is coming out this year. The big one was Nintendo spent most of the direct. They also, like, there wasn't a lot of fanfare for it. So I don't know I don't know what the deal is. If Nintendo just doesn't think this will be a big release, um, which is weird considering like it was a Switch 1 launch announcement. um so yeah, but they showed off a motorcycle that Samus rides through various areas. Wild speculation already happening as to what it's for. People are hoping that it's not an open world game because that flies in the face of Metroid, I guess. Um, you know, I don't know. Um, I mean, it's been already established that the big bad of the game is one of the other bounty hunters, and from Metroid Prime hunters. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it. The first person elements look really good, and I'm excited. And you know what? And if there's a motorcycle element to it, that's fine. That's fine. It looks cool. You know, it's people are like, oh, well, why didn't she just use her ship? I I mean, you could have any number of reasons, like in game, as to why Samus can't use her spaceship to travel around from place to place. Uh, it could simply be that maybe atmospheric conditions prevent you from taking off. I mean, that's a thing. Maybe it could be that you cover better ground on on a motorcycle, or it could be that maybe they pull in like an echoes element and the motorcycle can go into different phases or something. I don't know. It's whatever. It looks cool. I'm totally on board with it. It's fine. But yes, December 4th of this year. Today, you can purchase DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza. I have heard, I haven't confirmed it myself yet, but I've heard that it is $20. But it includes DK Isle, a reimagined DK Isle as like a bonus level for you to explore around. Also includes a whole bunch of returning characters. So in the trailer, it looks like there was Cranky, there was Diddy and Dixie, Squawks. So there may be a bunch of the animal companions show up, not just Rambi. But it also includes Emerald Rush, which is it's a mode where your goal is to just collect more and more emeralds. So you're basically, you're just smashing around and doing stuff. But like fossils will give you like perks to help you collect more efficiently. And Banandium gems will basically like re-unlock talents or unlock new talents for you for this mode specifically. And then all of your talents reset every run. So there's a little bit of a roguelike element to it. But yeah, I'm not sure about Emerald Rush. I mean, I'll try it. I still haven't finished the post game for DK Bonanza. But I'm really excited for DK Isle. And it's the DK Isle music from DK64. So again, like all the people who were saying that this game had nothing to do with Donkey Kong, they need to play it, and they need to play past like the first 3 hours of it. Because like it's there's so much Donkey Kong packed into it, and like classic Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong Country. So that DLC is available right now. One of the particular highlights for a lot of folks of this Nintendo Direct is Koei Tecmo is developing a Pokemon take on Dragon Quest Builders. So the story's a little sad actually. Is you're a Ditto who pops out of their Pokeball, and you find like a Pokedex, like a slightly broken Pokedex, which has like it's like a picture of what is assumed to be you, the Ditto, like with your trainer, and your trainer is seemingly nowhere to be found. Which is like the nightmare scenario that we think of for Pokemon, right? Um, is that like something happens to your trainer and now you don't know what to do. Um, so the Ditto tries to turn into a human, and of course, just looks like a human with a Ditto face. And then you go around meeting other Pokemon who teach you new skills, and you use those skills to sort of terraform the world around you and like grow crops and build buildings. And so it's another sort of like survival sim type game. And it looks like your goal is to eventually like start building towns. So but using like other Pokemon helpers. Um, so I've with the discourse online, I've seen basically two camps. The first camp, super excited for it. I have to say, I'm excited for this. I haven't played Dragon Quest Builders, but it was one of those that was kind of on my watch list. So I'm very excited to see what comes of that. The other camp is kind of whining about Pal World, and that this is clearly just ripping off Pal World, and how dare Nintendo after filing those lawsuits and everything. There's no pleasing people. There really isn't. Folks need to let it go. Okay. First off, this is not like, it is a survival game. It is a very different survival game than Pal World is. It's also, you are not a trainer that's going around capturing, pals, or building, or you're not crafting weapons, and you're not seemingly fighting against other humans using your pals. So again, like, I'm not going to retread the whole Pal World thing over and over again. Because if you want to hear my take on it, there's been plenty of past podcast episodes. But yeah, I'm excited for this. And I'm very happy to see where it goes. I love little builder games. And so and it's also, the other Pokemon don't necessarily pick up that you're a Ditto in disguise right off the bat, and so like when you when you partially transform to do stuff, they get like freaked out and horrified. It's kind of funny. So very excited for that. And that is 2026. So no firm release date yet, just sometime next year. A surprise. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. So Intelligent Systems is developing a new Fire Emblem game. Looks like it's basically like a gladiatorial Olympics kind of thing with various fighters. But seems to be connected to Fire Emblem Three Houses. So for folks who are watching, the slide that I have right now seems to be Sothis from Three Houses, sitting at her throne. So no, it's not in fact Three Houses, but like, we have what appears to be Sothis. We have what appear to be the artifact weapons from Three Houses. We also have what appear to be all of like the demon beasts. So there's a lot of DNA there. So whether this is like a prequel, maybe an alternate universe, maybe a sequel, I don't know. But like, when that stuff showed up, like, I was already interested because it's Fire Emblem. But like, when that showed up, and then it was like, oh, Oh, it might be connected to Three Houses. Okay, I'm on board. I'm more on board than I was before. Um, and it seems like there's like Three Houses, there are multiple sort of main characters. I don't know if it's like if you'll pick one of them and kind of follow their storyline, or if it's going to be like Three Houses and you pick like a neutral one, like Byleth, and then their main NPCs instead. Be very curious to see that. But they all have like their own various reasons for fighting in this tournament to have a wish granted, essentially. So yeah, that is 2026. Next up, Resident Evil Requiem is coming to Switch 2, along with Resident Evil Biohazard and Resident Evil Village. So this is a bit of a pleasant surprise for Resident Evil fans. They are all launching February 27th. So early 2026. So yeah, I don't think I've covered Resident Evil Requiem. I think I think a lot of the news has come out like when I was not doing the podcast on various weeks. But looks to be kind of going back to Resident Evil's roots. So it's less of an action game, maybe. Kind of takes place in a mansion, and it's more like that. They really played up that the main character is not like a what's the right word? Like, it's not like special forces or anything like that. Although she is FBI, so she should be trained for situations involving combat. Just for folks watching the live show, seems like we are having some connectivity issues. I apologize for that. But won't have those in the VOD that goes up later. So, and finally, just a quick, just especially if we're having stream issues, just a quick recap of the other titles that I haven't talked about in the direct today. So coming to Switch 1, Stormlancers, Popocom, and this one I'm sure will be a fan favorite. Is Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, which is coming out spring 2026. Looks kind of like a weird Nintendo take on The Sims. So be on the lookout for that. Switch 2 is getting Mortal Kombat Legacy, which it looks like it might have the Sub-Zero game as part of it. That's definitely a choice. Linked Banner of the Spark, which I wanted to note has fishing in it, so I may keep an eye out for that one. Kirby Air Rider is getting amiibos that have swappable bases. Hyrule Warriors is coming out November 6th. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is coming out February 6th. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake is early 2026. Power Wash Simulator is coming. Suika Game Planet. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is getting a Switch 2 edition. Overcooked 2 is getting a Switch 2 edition. Human Fall Flat is getting a Switch 2 edition. They also mentioned Pokemon Z or Pokemon Legends ZA, October 16th. They also noticed that's getting DLC. So they announced DLC for a game that's not out yet. So that's a choice for sure. Same thing with Dynasty Warriors Origins. That comes out January 22nd. Also, they announced DLC for that. 2 Point Museum, Disgaea 7 Complete, EA Sports FC 2026, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remastered, Virtua Fighter 5, Lego Voyagers, Little Nightmares 2, Persona 3 Reload, Danganronpa 2x2, and Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflect. That might be Twisted Reflection. Is March 13th. I'm very excited for that game. I love Monster Hunter Stories, and this one has a lot more using your monsties for travel and swapping between the two for different travel effects. Without having to like go into a menu. So there's like a radial menu for swapping your monsties while out in the field. Very cool. Very excited for that. So, whew. And that is going to wrap things up for this week. So, thank you all for joining me very much. Thank you all very much for joining me. As I said, I will link Geeks with Issues 20XX if folks are interested in that. If you want to see more stuff from 8-Bit Adventures, be sure to check out 8bitadventures.com. If you want to help support this content, the best way to do that is to become a patron over at patreon.com/8bitadventures. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, $1 US a month. And finally, big shout out and thank you to all my current patrons. Thank you for your continued support. And finally, our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. So with that, we're all finished. So we'll see you next week. And as always, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.